MultimediaJay radio style.
What's up, everybody? Yeah, I know. Captain Obvious, right? The world is full of morons, and so is YouTube. Yeah, let's just say that that anybody who wants to be a sarcastic, cynical comedian these days, there's just so much material out there. My dad stopped by yesterday, and we were joking about some of the stupid stuff that we put up with from people and things like that, and you know, people wonder why there's so many sarcastic, cynical comedians out there. It's because there's so much material that is so richly and bountifully provided by the actions of the rather dumb human beings. Yeah, we as human beings can be pretty stupid sometimes, but the people that make an art form out of it, anyways, let's not spend too much time dwelling on human stupidity, because that's way too big of a topic, and it would make it for a gigantic radio-style segment if we got into too much detail. Let's focus here, and specifically look to YouTube. Yes, for those of you folks who thought that I wouldn't be chiming in on YouTube removing video responses, yeah, it's been in the pipe, and I'm finally just going to rant about this crap. YouTube is removing video responses, which is just yet another symptom of YouTube's overarching problem of just being in a total identity crisis these days and not having a clue where its name originally came from. So here's their rationale here. Oh, well, video responses don't have a very high click-through rate. Only 4 out of every 1 million users who sees a video response clicks on it. Gee, I wonder why. They couldn't possibly be because of some of the changes over the years, right? Namely, things like, for example, video responses have been moved around. It used to be that you could see video responses right there without doing very much scrolling, and now, depending on the uploader comments and top comments and stuff, you might have to scroll past a few things to find the video responses. Gee, has YouTube forgotten that people just lounging and poking around on the internet are kind of going to be a little lazy, so the more scrolling they have to do to see a feature, the less unless they're really fired. You know, and if they're fired up about something and want to leave a comment, they'll scroll down to leave their comment. But in terms of video responses, as they've been moved around over the years, from very close to the video to far enough down that you, even on a 1080p monitor, you have to scroll a little to see them if there's enough comments. Gee, I wonder why. Plus, define user. Define user, what that means these days. Have we forgotten the little problem YouTube's been having with bots, aggregators, and non-human channels? So, do these 1 million users include any of those ghost accounts in those third-party services that people aren't supposed to be using? Or those aggregators where people working for a podcast somewhere just watch videos searching for podcast material. They have zero intention of interacting with the person who posted the video or responding in any way, shape, or form, may not even watch everything that they post unless the title looks interesting. But they're just looking for information for a podcast. Does YouTube even know their own problems these days? I say they don't, because if you've noticed with their Google Plus integration and the ability to have a brand channel tied to a Google Plus page, now they're giving features that were previously reserved for actual human beings who might want to interact with other human beings on YouTube. Now you can have brand channels that don't correspond to people at all. So some of the so-called users might not even be people to begin with, much less people that are going to click on a video response. Ridiculous. YouTube just keeps digging a bigger and bigger hole for themselves. I mean, and then they wonder why the views are dropping off. Why is the traffic dropping off? How come for all these channels people are complaining about views? Where are the views? And then they release some kind of feature like YouTube One, and they're like, subscriptions, we're going to help you get more subscribers. When for years people have known that subscriber numbers don't hardly mean anything, and the only reason that subscriber numbers have ever been anything significant on YouTube is because YouTube doesn't have proper RSS support, unlike so many other sites out there in the Web 2.0 world. I mean, seriously, how many more people are going to be, how many more people need to create WordPress pages to give their YouTube channels RSS functionality? How many more people are going to have to do that before YouTube gets a grip that standards mean something? Things that become established norms and standards online are worth paying attention to? It is technically possible to use RSS somewhat with YouTube, but for the most part, I've tried it a couple of times with various feed readers and Miro and other programs and whatnot, and it's been clunky at best. It's not what I'm thinking of when I think of, say, putting YouTube on par with audio or even video podcasts. Then, of course, there's the spammers and people with hijacked accounts, or the people that post video responses that are completely unrelated to the video. I mean, I could be doing a video blog about nuclear war and global Armageddon and post-apocalyptic ash blowing everywhere, Mad Max or whatever. Just think like destruction and desolation and we got to avoid the apocalypse. And then someone will video respond with, look at these cute kittens doing backflips. And then we wonder why video responses had such a low click-through rate. Okay, so the feature wasn't used very much. What's the solution? YouTube doesn't have one. They're just like, oh, we're going to continue trying to encourage more interaction between people and their audience. It's not about audience. It's not about content creators and audiences, YouTube. It's about people and people, because that's what people are that have YouTube accounts, is people, except, of course, with all these lovely new features that allow for channels to not be people, which contributes to the problem even more. Get a grip, YouTube. And especially in the terms of, there are people who do use video responses for things, including people using video responses to link to other videos, or people that have used the video response thing to interact directly with her. Hey, leave a video response saying this, that, or the other. Now that's not going to be feasible anymore. And what does YouTube have to replace that with? Nothing even close. So let's take a look at some more stuff from this blog entry. You can put video links in your comments now. Yay! So if I'm desperate enough and I want to see if someone video responded to a video, I can search through sometimes tens of thousands of comments to find their response video instead of just having a video response section. Tell me this isn't YouTube just trying to come up with more and more ways to bury channels they're not explicitly promoting. And then there's this other one. Oh, don't worry. You can just write it. You just make a video. You can use specific titles, hashtags, or descriptions like video response to this video. No, I do not see that working at all. Think about it, folks. How many videos do you watch on YouTube where you think, I wonder if there's video responses. Let me search video response to this video, and then go looking for video responses like that? Yeah, this isn't going to work. Furthermore, have we forgotten the whole reply girl thing? Where people were... This is terrible. Have we forgotten the whole reply girl fiasco where these people were going around making these dumb video responses by copying tags and things like that? Yeah, and YouTube changed a few things so that they could stop getting such easy ad revenue by making those idiot video response type videos with tags that they lifted from the original and stuff like that. But supposedly this is going to work again as a replacement for video responses. Really? I'll be looking for the resurgence of reply girls then. Because if YouTube really means what they say, then they have to allow it. It has to be totally acceptable to do that again. It needs, we need to be able to show up in the related videos when you video respond to something. Let's just get with the program here. None of this is going to work. Nothing is going to replace this video response feature. And instead of killing it, they should have found a way to fix it. Plain and simple. Instead, what they're doing is killing off a long-running feature of this website and replacing it with the vague promise of something better in the future. How about waiting until the new thing's ready to go before getting rid of the old thing? But when do these people ever do that? I have my blog, multimediajay.wordpress.com. One of the reasons why I have that blog And one of the things that I do on a regular basis is comment on other people's YouTube videos on there. Like, I've actually been doing a lot with music videos lately with songs that remind me of other songs. When I hear a song and it reminds me of another song that I've heard, not to say that they're a ripoff or anything, but just, the whole musical inspiration thing. When you hear a song and you're like, dude, I'm old enough to have heard that somewhere before, that kind of stuff. That's one of the things I've been doing. Another thing I've been doing, not related to music, is typing up commentary for other people's YouTube videos. Now, one of the reasons why I have to do this is because the feature that used to be on people's YouTube channels years ago got axed years ago and was never adequately replaced. It was the old video log, quote-unquote, feature that was almost never used as a video log. I actually have some playlists, MultimediaJay's featured favorites, those old playlists from years and years ago. Those all were videos that I used to have in the video log feature before it got axed. I used to type stuff up on them on my channel. So you'd go to my channel page back then, you'd see videos that I did, who I was subscribed to, who subscribed to me, things along those lines, and then you'd see like commentary on other people's videos and stuff. When YouTube launched Profiles 2.0, they axed that feature. And you can sort of do that today with some of the fancy playlist features. The video log feature hasn't been fully returned. You can't put it front and center on your channel again or anymore. People have to dig for it. And so it's just a lot easier just to, again, use something like WordPress to get around YouTube's limitations. How much more of that do we need to see here? So, if YouTube got rid of that feature all those years ago and they've never properly replaced it since then, why on earth should I believe at all that they're going to do the same thing with video responses? No, I'm not going to. What I think is going on here is the same thing that's been going on with this website for the past several years. That has gotten everyone screaming, views, 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 where are my views? Where have all my views gone? Da, 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 da. And then yet YouTube barks up the wrong tree with these features like, oh, subscribers, it's all about subscribers. We're going to get you more subscribers. When the only reason that, am I repeating myself here? Subscribers were only paid attention to because of the lack of proper RSS support. If YouTube would become like WordPress in video form and people could subscribe to you with RSS feeds and not need an extra blog site just to properly organize your videos without, having them vulnerable to whatever screwball changes YouTube tries to make to the channel pages in the years to come. I mean, how much more of this needs to go on, folks? Personally, I think that YouTube is in a state of decline because they're making more and more changes more and more frequently, whereas before they didn't used to make changes this much. Something has to be driving that. And before I sit here all day speculating as to what exactly that something is, I'm gonna shut up. That's where I stand on YouTube removing video responses. It's yet another misstep in a several year span of missteps that these people have been doing. And again, what's the site called? YouTube. The focus should be on people, not on, hey, look, free video hosting, create a brand channel and be able to subscribe to other channels and get everything that people would get without actually having to interact with people and all that fun stuff. Yeah, well, the YouTube community's been under siege for the past several years. This is the latest step in destroying said community. Good job, YouTube. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay signing off. Thanks for listening, and thanks for stopping by.